It's August 11th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have an explosion that failed to bring down a passenger jet, a presidential joke that sounded terrifyingly real, and a distress signal that helped change maritime emergencies forever. Let's begin. On August 11, 1982, Pan Am Flight 830 was cruising at 36,000 feet above the Pacific Ocean when an ordinary passenger seat became the center of a nightmare. Hidden beneath it was a bomb. Without warning, the rear cabin exploded. The blast killed 16-year-old Toro Ozawa and injured 16 other passengers. Smoke and debris filled the aircraft as a 4-foot hole opened up at the cabin floor and part of the ceiling collapsed. Beneath the passengers was nothing but damaged machinery and miles of empty sky. But the Boeing 747 remained airborne. They declared an emergency and continued towards Honolulu, where terrified passengers waited, uncertain if the wounded aircraft would hold together. Then the runway appeared. They landed safely, and of 285 people aboard, 284 survived. Lead investigators later traced the bombing to Mohammed Rashed, a member of the 15 May organization. At 36,000 feet, one bomb had torn open the cabin, but it failed to bring the aircraft down. On August 11, 1984, American President Ronald Reagan stood before a microphone at his California ranch preparing for his weekly radio address. It should have been a routine sound check, but the Cold War was still casting a nuclear shadow across the world. American and Soviet missiles waited in underground silos capable of reaching their targets within minutes. Then, Reagan jokingly tested the microphone. "My fellow Americans, I am pleased to tell you that today I've signed the legislation that will outlaw Russia forever. We begin bombing in 5 minutes." Those inside the room laughed, but the radio feed was already traveling to radio stations, and some of them were recording. Within days, the joke had leaked. Soviet media condemned the remark as dangerously hostile, and political oppositions questioned how the president could joke about beginning a nuclear war. No bombs were ever launched, and no missiles left their silos. For one unsettling moment, words never intended for broadcast sounded like the beginning of a countdown to World War III. On August 11, 1909, the steamship SS Arapahoe was traveling near Cape Hatteras when its propeller shaft suddenly broke. The vessel began drifting helplessly through the water. Inside the wireless room, Theodore Habner prepared to call for help, but maritime communication was undergoing a confusing transition. Operators had been long using the distress signal CQD, while the new international code had been introduced: 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots, SOS. Habner feared that someone stationed might not recognize the unfamiliar signal, and with the disabled ship drifting farther into danger, he made a decision. He transmitted both. The message was intercepted, and assistance reached them before the situation became a disaster, and Habner's transmission became the first recorded American use of SOS at sea. Contrary to popular belief, SOS did not originally mean save our souls. The hauntingly simple pattern was chosen because it was unmistakable. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next eerie dose is just a day away.